Testing, testing. Good. Okay. Bit of sketching tonight, and yeah, I thought I'd turn the camera on. But there's a couple of reference photos that I want to turn into bigger paintings, and so I've basically got them up on the top right hand corner of the screen. So yeah, this one here is a pretty simple sort of scene because the house is front facing. So yeah, in that sense, you're not really going to have to do any too much perspective on it. Thought this would be a pretty good one for beginners as well. Maybe kind of thinking whether I want to change the shadow pattern, make it more dramatic. But yeah, I always like to do a quick little sketch before I turn it into a big sort of painting. So this is some paper also that I got a while back from this. I can't remember where I got it from. I think it was from it's definitely from an art supply shop somewhere when I was on holidays. So I've only done 2 paintings in it, this one and that one, but I haven't done line and wash stuff here. So I thought, why not? Let's just give it a crack. And yeah, I mean, with these particular, with these sort of line and wash paintings or drawings, whatever you want to call them, I don't really, I don't really bother in terms of getting in a pencil drawing or something like that. I just go straight in with the pen. So yeah, if you have questions, if you're watching along, you have questions and that kind of thing, drop a comment. But I'll kind of talk you through what I'm doing. So yeah, basically for this, I'm just gonna maybe divide the scene into half, and just using this as I guess as a work pad, I suppose. So yeah, very simple. I want to get the top of the house. It's really just a triangle. If you look at it, it's a triangle. So just kind of draw in, place in the 3 kind of dots there where I roughly want to get in this house. It's actually maybe a bit goes down a little bit more inside. It's not as something like that, okay. Great. Then you've got this sort of circle bit there, and yeah, these houses, they have like a kind of frame, white kind of frame thingo like that. So I'm going to get that in. It's actually a lot of the houses obscured by these trees. So yeah, there's not much I can do about that. Just kind of draw around them, and you've got something behind. There's like another house behind, and then you've got that kind of, again, this what you may call this, white framing area. All right, 3 windows. So we got 1, 2. I'm simplifying this down a heap as well. They're actually a bit wider, like a fair bit wider than this, but I'm not gonna bother, just to simplify this. Something like that should be okay. Then you've got like the bottom bit here, just a rectangle. I do find that, yeah, if you just go in there and if you just go in there without too much thinking, but at the same time you're keeping in mind the basic shapes. So like, that's a rectangle, for instance. But what I mean is that you're not going in there and trying to get a, picture perfect representation of every little window. You're counting every little thing here and there. For instance, here I can like color in some of these areas for the windows. But if you look at it closely, I'm probably missing a few spaces here and there. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, this is kind of like a plan, a way to plan out a proper painting, because when you haven't, I guess, drawn, painted a particular scene before, the last thing you want to do is to put a heap of pressure on yourself to basically get in a finished painting, You know, over here you've got like some tree that goes in front. Look, I'm just gonna put that quickly in like that. I don't even know exactly where that comes from, like maybe here. And then you've got like this other tree that goes all the way up here, something like that. Okay, this may be subject to change afterwards as well. I mean, there's all these trees and stuff in the background. I'm just going to get in the roof, the chimney here, something like this. That little chimney or something there. And here in the background, again, you've got like more of these structures. Every time you practice drawing in these little structures and houses and stuff like that, you do feel more confident the next time you go into it. So don't feel like you have to be perfect and get in every little detail exactly. Yeah, this is, like I said, just a quick sketch. Now there's a road or something coming in from the back. Can you see that? I'm going to just widen that road a little bit around here. And, you know, there's more of these trees and stuff here in the background. Plus more of these rooftops, houses, that kind of thing. So the roofs and the sides of the buildings, I find you have to really spend a bit more time drawing them out, because with man-made objects, you basically need to imply a bit more structure there. Good. Let's put in this other bigger tree here. Okay. I think that should be okay. Now for the, yeah, I mean, actually in the background there is a little tree line. I have like a thinner pen that I can put that in. Something like that. Maybe exaggerated a touch. Coming out here, there's actually more stuff. Okay, got this little palette here, which is great. I bring this along with me when I'm sketching outdoors, and it makes it a lot easier for me to actually carry it around in the first place. It's so simple. I'm just picking up a bit of this cerulean blue, and the brand of this stuff is 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧, but there are other watercolor brands that are just as good. Okay, so I'm just getting in the sky. I'm kind of thinking to myself, do I want to change anything up from the reference photo, or is that kind of, am I happy with that essentially? Yeah, so I have darkened the sky like a little bit, but yeah, not a huge deal. Not a huge deal. I mean, you still, yeah. I mean, with cerulean blue, you can only get it so dark anyway, because it's a very light blue color. It's trying to preserve the whites and stuff on the buildings as well. Another thing that you might want to do is, like, I always try to get in the yellows, because they'll end up turning into green if you're not careful. So yeah, I'm just going to put in a bit of warm color here. I mean, to be honest, it's not super. Yeah, I probably use a bit of this stuff here, which is yellow ochre as well. So I'm just being a little more careful here to make sure I cut around the frames of the house, that kind of thing. But yeah, really for the most part, there's not that much I need to do. All right, just get in that yellow. The rest of it, really, I mean, there's a bit here. Where else is there? I mean, that house to the back end, it kind of, yeah, actually it's yellowish as well, but not too yellow. So I don't know, maybe I'll just dull that down with some of this color here. I don't even know what color that is, but just something there. Yeah, the rest of them, you know, I can maybe, if I've got like a brown or something, just chuck that in here. Could even leave some. Let's have a look. Probably want to mix up a grey. And I do have some leftover paint here in the palette, so I'll pick up some of this stuff, mix it together, and hope that comes out to like a real neutral sort of color. So I can just paint in some of these roofs and I guess areas at the back that I just want to subdue down a touch. Yeah, okay, good. All right, some of these trees, a bit of green. I've got tons of greens here, so there's not much I need to do. Just really, you can even just pick up some yellow and drop it in, and then mix a bit of blue or darker green through it. But at the moment, I'm just getting in a pretty light shade of green for all this stuff here in the background. I'm gonna have to redo that background actually. It's yeah, I'll have to redo that background, but I can still get in a light wash of it like this. Okay, pretty easy. Sort of use this as a, I don't know, like a coloring in book. Yeah. Another thing I've forgotten to do is maybe put in a nice, a few little horizontal marks on the page for the house, because you see on the house there are these wooden boards that run horizontally, very which is very characteristic of these sort of what you might call them, Scandinavian houses. God, my screensaver just keeps turning on, so I'll just try to figure this out, how to do this on my computer. Shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, how are you guys doing? I know there's a few of you watching. I thought I'd try going live a bit later tonight. Well, for me in Melbourne anyway, because last time I went live during the daytime, no one was watching. I had a few people there, but because yeah, it was just I guess because you got a lot of people sleeping, and I didn't let anyone know I was streaming as well. Great. Hey, Yvette. And yeah, just a quick one, I was it's been a while since I've streamed, and actually I've had like for this whole week I've had a bit more time. So yeah, thought why not? But yeah, it's good to see you. It's been a while. Have you been, yeah, how did your exhibition go, and have you been, yeah, have you been entering in some other ones as well? Be good to hear how you're doing. And Sadia, hey, how you doing, Sadia? And we've got on YouTube, Woo, WHU. This is great. Thank you. And you know, if you have questions and stuff, just let me know. But again, this is just a quick sketch because I am planning to turn this and another painting into like some larger ones. So this is my process that I use to kind of familiarize myself, get myself comfortable with, I guess, composing the scene, because a lot of this stuff is probably, you know, I'm going to change it as well. And I've simplified this house down in, you know, for this demonstration. But, you know, for example, I made this road a little bit wider. And yeah, I do want to mix up another grayish value. So actually there's kind of some here already. Just get that in like that. Real light value running across on this road. It's almost nothing. It's almost nothing, just to remove the white of the paper. And yeah, so I'm really like, these are just greens that I'm picking off the palette. These are pre-mixed greens, but you can just mix up your own. If you've got a yellow and a blue, that's all you need. And make sure that it's kind of lighter. Another thing I'm kind of keeping in mind is the light source. So we can see the lights coming from the left. One thing I really like about this reference photo is that you've got a ton of light across the ground as well in the front. I don't think I've changed brushes this whole time. I might switch to a larger brush. And right here, I'm just mixing up a bit of lighter green with some yellow ochre and a bit of darker green. Or if you don't have darker green, just mix up a bit of blue with it. Oh, crap. Gone into that road. It's not a big deal. Just wipe off like that. Yeah. So it kind of looks a bit like nothing at the moment because we haven't put in any of the shadows, any small details. But that's kind of how we want it. We want it to be, yeah, just like looks almost a bit too light, almost a bit monotonous. Okay. Because you want to put in that second wash over the top and create a bit of extra darkness. And you know, I'm going to do this while the paint is actually still kind of wet. Now, normally I would wait a bit longer, but let's just do this. Now I've got some blue here. I've also got green, blue and green, which I'm going to mix together. Now there's this like really large tree that comes forwards here on the right hand side. So I'm really going to try to emphasize this one here, bring that forwards a little bit. All right. And another thing we can do is, you know, like I said, on the right hand side of these trees, you'll notice that there is a bit of shadow, right? Because the light's coming from the left. So you want to put in some of this shadow like that on the right hand side of these trees. But the trick is you want to also leave in some of that previous wash, which is tricky wet into wet to do this, because it kind of mixes all over the place, which is why it's kind of better to wait till the very end. But we will make do. So that one there, see, just putting in a bit of that green on the right hand side, right? What else do we have? You know, you've also got like shrubs and stuff here at the base of the house. You know, even here, like these shrubs and things, we can get that in. Here on the left hand side, I might start putting in a bit more, don't know, a bit more color, a bit more darkness again. Up the top of the scene as well, you know, again, playing around with the contrast here, we want to make, well, I think I want to keep this large tree that's sort of looming over the top and coming in a bit. Okay, these dark areas will create a I don't know, just a better contrast between light and dark. Okay, so the house, for example, you know, there's even bits and pieces you can see just coming in to the right hand side. And at this point, I don't even know what color I'm using. I mean, for all I could, doesn't matter, I could switch to another palette. And these ones are really good for just carrying around. Oh, that's right. It was closed when it fell. Yeah, this one I actually prefer because it's like a Rembrandt palette that I picked up as well, like last year, and it does go through the paints like a lot faster, but I find that the colors are much more subdued. So yeah, kind of mess around with different types of palettes. So I think there's some questions here. Okay. Yeah, night is better. Yep. Yeah. I'm trying to get back into doing these again, Yvette. I know it's been a little while, so yeah, I'm quite happy to see you here and a few people. And someone says, totally off topic, Sadia, rainy season, and my paints are getting fungus in them. Any advice on how I can keep the palette clean? I don't want to throw out the paint every time I paint. Drying the palette every time I use, but I'm still getting fungus on them. Yeah, it's like it has to do with the kind of humidity in the air, and also the types of paints, as well. I think some of the ones that I use, they probably have some antimicrobial stuff that they put in it, so I've never had any issues. But it does, here in Australia, it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty dry. I'd suggest, yeah, keeping it in a very, I don't know if you can find like a low humidity area. Um, Honestly, I'm kind of not sure. Had to deal with that issue before. I was going to say your fridge because I know that's going to be low humidity, but I don't know if that's an option for you. Uh, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to keep on cracking on with this one, yeah, and I'm going to put in a few little. See these nice kind of leaves here and there. The round brush already has the almost the shape of these leaves, so I'll put some of them in like that. And I like that there's a pre-mixed gray in this Rembrandt set, so not gray, purple. So it's yeah. Anyhow, here in the ground as well, I want to connect up some of this darker stuff and create a bit of a shadow. I think I'll just like spray this area as well. Still getting used to this paper. It's like, it's a little bit weird because it's completely like flat. There's no texture to this paper at all, so it's kind of like difficult to work with. But anyway, here I'm just trying to get in some of this darkness in the ground. Look, I'm using purple. I think a bit of brown I can mix in there as well if I want to just subdue it a bit. So like this. I want to kind of preserve some of that light running through there. Yep. And even here we have like the trees, which kind of like get darker at the base and maybe have a shadow to the right, say here as well. All right. Yep. And there comes a point also where you might want to just experiment and add stuff in that's not actually in the reference. So I might think of adding in a person here in a moment. With these sketches, that's the great thing. You're almost just using this as a way to experiment and see what works. Like one thing that's tricky with this scene is like there's a lot of stuff here in the background, but there's not really much here in the foreground. So yeah, like I'll just maybe try scratch off some paint. Oops. Maybe it's a bit too early. I can do it here. Like you can see with this scratching off technique, and you get this sort of grass effect. That, I don't know, something like this. There, I'll have to wait a little bit actually for it to dry more. Yeah. Let me try maybe put in a person, see if that works. Usually maybe here in the side or something. Maybe that could work. Person there. And not to forget the shadow as well running to the right. Ugh. Yeah, that kind of looks like a person. These could be some other people, who knows? Someone here. Yeah, and you want to do these little experiments through sketching rather than wait till you have your actual proper painting and think, oh, well, maybe I want to put a person in there. and then it ends up looking a bit funny because this is probably too many people. You know, it's like detracting from the whole scene. But it kind of gives me a bit of an indication of, well, if I were to put a person here, would I want that person here or here? You know, the person's a bit bigger, maybe it would detract from the rest of the scene. I don't know. I think that one, just with one person, kind of looked okay there. I mean, even if I had a person here in the front, maybe that will kind of make sense. Maybe they're visiting. This person's visiting this friend or a friend there, you know, telling a bit of a story. So, or you might not want to have any people in there at all. You know, that might just be your choice. Little shadows, a little bit of shadow here underneath this part of the roof. And to the right hand side here, just a little touch of darker paint. This is purple because I've been using purple, and purple and yellow go well together. They kind of neutralize each other a touch as well. So that should be kind of yellow behind there as well. Yeah, I mean, this thing is pretty much done from what I see anyway. I mean, I'm not really trying to get in a masterpiece or anything like that. It's just to experiment with this composition, see if I can change things around a bit, that kind of thing. Yeah, I still think, like, I don't know, maybe some extra darkness and stuff here in the corner might be good. Maybe some, who knows, maybe some extra darker bits of grass, you know, clumps here and there. I'm not sure. Just experiment around a bit. Is it ready? Yeah, so if you wait a little bit, like now when the paint's nearly dried, see if when you sort of scratch over the top, it like lifts off some of the paint, so it looks like, yeah, it just looks like a little bit of grass. Yeah, and you know, this is like a real quick thing. How long was that? I don't think I even spent 15 minutes on it, or maybe a bit longer than 15 minutes. Yeah, another thing is that you know, these like wooden boards on the house, maybe I can imply them with this brush. It's tricky, but rather than going in with the pen, you know, a bit more subtle. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's a really quick one. I'm gonna dry it off, and I'll try a second one in a second as well. Oops, let me just get in this little chimney. I always spot like bits and pieces that I've missed out, so yeah. All right. And yeah, I love painting these sketchbooks because there's no taping down. There's this air of more kind of casual experimentation. You're not trying to come up with like a finished bit of work. So anyway, I'll bring up another reference. Let me just find it for a second. It's on my desktop somewhere. It's one that I want to change around a little. Here it is. So yeah, it's just like an enlarged photo, so you can have a quick look at it. Yeah, there's this tree that's in on the left side of the house, which I don't like at all. So I'm going to move that tree. Okay. Gotta have the reference photo up so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. So let's start scribbling away. Have my reference photo up on the screen, wherever it is. Here we go. Okay. So the most difficult part of this scene is to basically get this house in. I'm going to place it roughly around here. Okay. And it's like, I mean, it's smack bang in the middle, rectangle, isn't it? Like this. So you draw a rectangle for the bottom part. And the rooftop is like here, kind of comes off. And I'm going to have to imagine what actually comes off the left-hand side. I'm assuming it's, I don't know, I'm assuming it's like similar. So get a bit that comes out like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I've kind of enlarged, made this little house too big actually, but that's all right. Window here, another window here. After a while, you stop looking at these things, these houses or whatever as houses. You just look at them as shapes. You know, the frames like that, and let's color in, you know, a bit of darkness for one side here. This was funny. This pen ran out of ink the other day, and now it's just suddenly started like working again. So I'm anticipating it to like suddenly conk out anytime soon. But it's it seems to be going okay for the time being. I don't know, it's little details on the house there. Yep, side there. We'll get in the other side like that, maybe. Okay. Yeah, it's just like a shadow running across. I'm not concerned about that. But there is a chimney that's like right in the center here. And sticks like that. Okay. I can't actually see behind how the chimney is structured. So I'm going to have to leave it like that. And see how we go. And I might put in some little kind of line work here for the rooftop. You know, just some line. And basically I'll turn the pen on the side so that it kind of scratches the surface and skips a bit here and there. Okay. Yeah, no, you're totally right, Yvette. With these quick sketches, you have so little pressure. You know, this is, if I think about it too much, I'll be, oh, you know, this line's not straight, that line's not straight. You know, but this is just, think about it as just practice and without a particular, without worrying about a particular outcome, right? Because that's so hard for me, I find at times, to like not worry about the outcome and to just do something, just draw or paint. We're always thinking about what's going to look like, this and that. So yeah, but you know, that's one thing here. I moved that tree. I didn't like that tree in the way. So yeah, there is actually like a shed or something out the back. Can you see there? Just like a smaller indication of some shed. Let me put that in like that. I don't know exactly. Well, here we go. Just some little details, and there's like something to the right. There's even something here. I don't know what that is. Again, some smaller bits and pieces. Okay, there's this pole here, which I don't want to put in, so let's leave that. I'm just kind of scribbling in to see if I can maybe reposition this tree, because I quite like the structure of it. So yeah, but it is quite imposing in the original photograph. Yeah, I mean, I can get it to go over the top of this side of the house, I suppose. Let's just see. Let's see how we go. If it overlaps, that's no big deal. Something like that. But I just didn't want it to cover the whole left side of it completely. Okay, so there we have like the, you know, bit of some branches, this and that there. That's a tree. That's a tree. There's even one here. I don't know what this one is. It's like a something like this. There. And then there's like another big tree here, which I like because it's like connects the foreground to the background. Okay, so I'll try to get out a few of these branches and stuff first, but don't worry about all these little details. It's, you know, as long as you got something there, you're fine. I really like these flowers as well. Yeah, I might play around that. Having a look at the shadow. These shadows are running to the left. Okay, so I'm going to exaggerate the shadows a lot more. This house, everything, but they maybe run a bit towards the back there. So yeah, kind of like in there. So just to make it look more interesting, you got flowers and stuff like that. Plus you've got this mountain or something here, disappears to the right, and then you have all this stuff in the background, which I'm going to simplify this down. All right, so I just got some kind of mountainous area in the back. I didn't leave enough room on the top of my scene as well, but no worries, we'll make do. If that's a tiny bit of sky there, so maybe I'll put in a shrub, a bush or something like that, you know, like that. Yeah, there's another one here actually, something like this. Would be good if I had maybe another one here. Balance it. Okay. Do I want to put a person? Maybe we could have a person here, just walking. I don't want to cover up this building too much, but that could be a person. I could still add another person later, but that's good for the drawing. I don't want to spend any more time on this. So the house is just white, so we don't need to do anything. Just leave it white, basically. Rooftop. We've got here. Check what I'm painting with. Yeah, this is like probably a better color. Get in this rooftop. It's like a burnt sienna. Like a reddish brown. So if you can mix that up, it's going to be fine as well. Just warmth in the roof. Right? And the chimney is also kind of warm. And technically you might get a bit of shadow running to the left-hand side. Yeah, this. A bit of that shadow. So I'll put that in like that. Okay. Pretty basic. While I'm here, all right. Good. Noticed I'm kind of putting that shadow kind of going towards the back a little bit more as well. Okay, so let's go back to, let's go back to the shadow here in the house. I'm going to use like a mix of gray that I've already picked, mixed up on the palette. So it's just whatever was left over there. So this area underneath the rooftop, as you can see, is like darker. All right, not too dark though. It's probably in this color anyway. It's mostly just water. But yeah, it does need to be dark enough to imply that it's a shadow, of course. I might even, I don't know, imply something here. Let's have a look. What else? Some more. Make it more exaggerated. More of that shadow to the left side of these window frames. This one as well. So light source coming from the top right is what I'm kind of imagining. Okay, top right. Good, so that's pretty much the shadows and stuff done on this building. Like, the rest of it is just getting in all the mountains and things in the back. So, yeah, I'm going to be really using a combination of colors back here, greens and blues. Yeah, let me just mix up a bit of this green as well. Yeah. And maybe a bit more blue. Okay. And to simplify it, I'm just really using one color, yeah? And I'm trying to make it a bit darker as well so that when I go around the house here, it appears like the roof is really catching that light. Like that. Okay. It's probably going to turn a bit purplish as well because I've got some red in there. It's no big deal. I really love using purples. Okay. That's pretty much it for these like mountainous areas. I don't think there's much else I want to do there. While I'm in this section as well, it's probably a good idea for me to get the sky in. So yeah, a bit of cerulean blue. I'm really going to wash this down a lot. So like add in a ton of water. So it's almost like there's almost no color in there. It's just a little bit of that light blue. And I'm going to just touch the edge of those mountains. Just so that we don't get mixing into the sky if possible. All right. Not too bad. A bit of darker blue at the top. Just a little something. Okay. Time to continue on to these buildings and stuff. Trees. So here I've got some yellow and blue mixed together. And so I've got myself a pretty vibrant green and it's still quite light because I've added in more yellow. Okay, and there's like, I don't know, I think this should be a mountain actually to the left, but I've accidentally I've forgotten to get it in, so I'm gonna just turn it into a tree. All right, and then you've got this tree here in the foreground, a bit darker, yeah. Yeah, back there actually there is some kind of oh, who knows, but there is like some water back here. You see, underneath there. So let's get that in. Let's get that in, and I will like try to get some kind of resemblance of the bottom of the mountains or whatever in that back section. Create a bit of a line there so that it doesn't break, doesn't go into that area. The house is like again a reddish color. This house, orangey reddish color. So I'm gonna exaggerate this a touch. Let's just do that, and maybe something there. All right. Good, good. Now, I'll put in basic green value across the ground and all of this area. Essentially, yeah, that's way too dark. I'm just picking up some. God, my yellows have just completely been disintegrated. But yeah, the yellows is what I'm trying to get in here, okay? Yellows. Pretty sure that's orange on the right. That's right. More water for this. And I'm just keeping that house white. Okay. And because I'm just using so many blues and greens anyway, like I'm picking up yellow and it's pretty much turning green as soon as I pop it into the other colors, which is actually good. Yeah, let's have a look. That's looking okay, yeah? Like a light green-ish color. Righto, so yeah, we are almost, like, I think we're almost done here. There's just some shadows, some darker bits to add in. Like this one here. Again, the light's coming in from the right, so you probably get some darkness there. And at the base, this shadow running towards the back here. Maybe something for that one as well. Okay. This house is going to cast a shadow behind, and this tree as well will have a shadow maybe cast behind like that. Okay, so this one too, this shrub there, and not to forget some imaginary shadows coming in from the right hand side of the scene. Okay, you probably have other trees and things like that as well. Maybe a bit of something here in the foreground. Right. This one here. That. Gonna start putting in a bit of darkness for these trees in some parts anyway, like just underneath in areas like that. Here. Here. In fact, this area at the back is actually a lot darker. This mountainous area to the right, so I think I will try getting that in darker. This will create extra contrast, hopefully, as well. Okay. for the house to stand out. These windows, like, they're pretty dark anyway. There's not really much I need to do there. Right. Yeah, you can kind of make out that there's some water back there. This person walking around here in the foreground. Need to darken the legs a touch like this, here and here, and again put the shadow running behind like that, so that it makes sense. I mean, you can really barely tell that there's a person even walking around there, but sort of. You can experiment around with putting a figure like near to the building as well, near to the white of the building. I'm just thinking where I'm going to put this figure without stuffing it up. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's just try here. Okay, there's someone here. What I think looks like a person anyway. And, you know, little bits and pieces like these shrubs and things that we can flick in spots. Simple little shrubs, grass, really. Okay, this shadow for the tree should be like way darker and more prominent. That, join that up to the bottom part here as well. Yeah, this was kind of the part that I was thinking, how am I going to put these flowers in? Probably just like, I'll scratch off some, as you can see at the bottom, just scratching off like little bits of paint with a pocket knife. See, and you kind of got to wait a bit for it to dry first. I'm being impatient to kind of get this done faster. But yeah, if you see here in the back, the effect is more permanent. It just stays, whereas at the front, it kind of depends if the paper is dried or not. And sometimes it's too dry, you can't really do anything. Sometimes it's not dry enough. So I got this rigger brush. Maybe I can get in some like indications of, you know, some of this stuff here. Actually, with this set, they've given me a bit of white paint here, which is great because I can now use this to mix with like the other colors, like this bit of orange, and here suddenly I can get in like some orange flowers, and I'll mix some yellow here with it. We get some yellowish looking flowers or something. Maybe some pink ones. Where's the red? Lost it. Okay, that's sort of reddish. maybe a bit of blue, cerulean blue, and mixing it with the like some pink just gives it a kind of lilac color. Yeah, I don't know. This is just a bit of experimentation, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't take much. It doesn't really take much to create a nice little whimsical scene like this. I think it looks quite okay. Just building up, having the patience and just building up the details in the watercolors. And you know, I've forgotten to get in some of the details, especially for these branches and things like that. That's no big deal. I think for most part anyway, just, you know, I don't want it to be something that I'm obsessing over. Okay. All right. That's it. That is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little sketching session. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this little sketching session. These two I will turn into like larger paintings at some stage. Okay, but like as you can see, it doesn't take very long to do these. It took me an hour, right? And you know, I'm not overthinking it. You know, I've made so-called mistakes throughout the whole thing. Like I've proportions of the house are not right, all kinds of things, you know, but it's just a bit of practice. And at the end of the day, in the absence of the reference photo, no one actually knows. One thing I did forget to do was maybe put in some of these, again, these like, what do you call them? Boards on the house, these like wooden boards. So I've just picked up a little bit of light grey paint to do this because it really needs to be super light. Okay. There we go. Cool. All right. Yeah, this is pretty unplanned, so I hope this was enjoyable and helpful for some of you. If you have questions and you're watching after, just let me know as well. And yeah, it's good to see some familiar faces, especially good to see you, Yvette. And yeah, I saw you commented on one of my posts before, and I was just like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna stream and maybe you might be there, might catch it. Um, anyhow, cool. I'm gonna get to sleep now, but I'll see you all next time.